Got it going. All right. Oh. No, not my camera placement. I almost had a heart attack. I almost had like a heart attack. Okay. I think that's a great place to start for
Whatever you did, don't touch it again.
Yeah, whatever you did, don't touch it again. I'm bringing it back. All right, guys. We are live and on camera, guys. Welcome the Collegiate Star League community to the quad, the first episode of the 2017-2018 season. You might have thought that we were dead, but just like the Overwatch community, what is dead may never die. Today we are here to talk about the CSGO community, PUBG community. I really can't tell the difference these days. What game is Summit 1G playing these days? It seems like that's like the flow of like the CSGO community, wherever like Summit heads off into for a little while until he comes back, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm Jason Logic. I do the production side of things for the CSL, kind of paying attentioner of all games. To my right, we have the best Forza player in the lands of British Columbia. Still, nobody has taken that title, though, right? Nobody has taken that title, though. I'm waiting for that one day when we have that Forza come back and we got Mahone competing for that title again. How are you doing, man?
Good.
So, not only are you running things over British Columbia, but you have joined the CSL as well. You're part of the family now. Feel free to express to the audience what you do now.
Yeah, so I'm the community manager for CSL, CSGO for this upcoming year. I used to be a competitor as well. I used to be the captain in-game leader for UBC. So I've been competing in the scene for about 3 to 4 years now. So I think I have a pretty good idea of how things go around here. If you guys have any questions, let me know, contact me. And yeah.
Basically, if you're in that CSL Discord, just add him if you have any questions. That way I have less stuff to do. I would always appreciate that. Quit bugging me. Quit asking me questions. All right, right below me, we have our writer and multi-talented soon-to-be CSGO cast for the CSL. You'll be able to catch him on Mondays and Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific and 7 p.m. Pacific, doing some of his due diligence in the CSGO land of the CSL. We have Zach, a.k.a. Crackshot. What's up, buddy?
How's it going, everybody? I'm happy to be here.
How are you feeling, man? You got also as well a nice little dual responsibility. Now with the CSL, you've also kind of expanded your role with the CSL.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's been exciting. I just thought, as you know, I've been writing for around 2 years, and I've been doing it just kind of on the side, but not trying to take it more seriously as a potential, career in the future. So getting this job, CSL has been really, really good for me, and then casting is like my love and passion. So being able to do both for CSL is really, really exciting.
Great to hear. Awesome. And you guys will obviously be able to check out again on Twitch TV/CStarLeague on Mondays and Wednesdays. Zach over here, and as well on cstarleague.com/CSGO. You'll be able to read some of his pieces. So keep tabs on that. A lot of quality content coming out this year with a nice quality talented team. And now to my bottom diagonally corner right. Trying to make it deep into the playoffs for what year it would be? 3?
Third year, yeah.
Third year. We have the man from UCI, Strawberry. How's it going?
Pretty good. Glad to be here. Pretty excited.
That's the enthusiasm we've been looking for on a Friday night. You sound like you just got out of a shitty ESEA pug, just like.
I just got out of a meeting with our esports director, so still digesting some of that right now.
Is it good? Is it bad?
Yeah, we're just talking about like the future of Counter-Strike at UCI, pushing towards a scholarship program, what we can do, how we're going to convince a public university to get over bombs and terrorists. But besides that, it went pretty well.
Well, I mean, just like today with the NCAA, it's great that we have things distracting us from classes. I don't know if you guys heard with the North Carolina ruling today. Basically, all the paper classes are wasting people's time. Hopefully, we can see the actual CSGO players go to class, take their time, get grades, and also can play CSGO, something of value that can be further utilized into the future. We have only quality members Well, at least those that you don't find on the forums of ESEA. But the rest are the rest are quality people that we can find in the community.
Gold store.
Exactly. So today we're going to be talking about a few topics entering the season. It's going into week 1. We were supposed to have some broadcasts on Wednesday, but unfortunately we were not able to generate the CEVO brackets and servers just in time, so we'll have to wait for some visuals up until Monday when those are going to be coming. But the first games of week 1 are going to be playing this Saturday. And looking at, before we get into this year, let's take a look back at last year. Going back to last year, finals time, you guys have any takeaways with Baruch winning and a full-fledged season? Another really good, talented crop of, I feel like, top-end teams. I want to say at least our top 16 to top 8 were really, really good. Wouldn't you guys agree? Mahone, feel free to take over.
I guess leading up to the LAN, I felt like I think it was the right 4 teams that made it, because there was a lot of discussion about like the brackets being a little bit, skewed one side or whatever. There's a huge discussion about that, but at the end of the day, I still think the top 4 teams that ended up making it were the right 4 teams. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure Strawberry would also agree with me as well. But in general, I think the LAN was a lot of fun. Baruch has a really strong team, or they had a really strong team last year, and they have an even stronger team this year. So it's gonna be interesting to see.
And for those that are not familiar, obviously UBC was one of the finalists. We had also UC Irvine, one of the finalists. British Columbia actually made it to the finals. So these guys have a lot of experience. I mean, you know what? For all those that didn't make the top 4, screw all of them. You guys are a bunch of winners right here. Talk about the finals experience and kind of what you remember about Toronto and how that went for you guys. The good and the bad. It's okay. It's okay. If there was some bad stuff, I'll take it to heart. It's okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll take this one. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was like a new environment, having in like a movie theater. That was pretty cool. But one thing that I'm having flashbacks from is the scheduling was a little rough, because I know we were supposed to play at like 3, and then like we got pushed up. So the scheduling was rough. You remember that? Dude, we walked in like 5 minutes before our match with like my Chipotle, and I'm like, I just want to eat. I just woke up. And but no, it was cool though. Definitely was a cool experience in Toronto. I've never been there before, so enjoyed it a lot.
For me too, actually.
City. Great city.
It's beautiful.
What about you, Danny? What did you take away from your native country? It feels like you're a whole country away, to be honest. Being in British Columbia, you're like, it's like if you could stretch Kansas like across the middle of Canada for like even like 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 more states, like that's the distance it feels like between British Columbia and actually getting over to Toronto. It feels like you guys are in a completely different place.
Yeah, it is. It was my first time being in Toronto as well, actually, even though I live in Canada, but like it's actually pretty similar to Vancouver in a way, so it was pretty cool in that sense. As far as like the actual experience like of playing, for me it was different because like I've already played at a lot of different LANs and stuff like that already, so I've already had a good amount of experience like being on that type of stage. But I guess this is the thing that I want to like make a clearer point for this year at least, is that there needs to be LAN servers. And I think every team complained about that. That was a big thing. But other than that, like it was a lot of fun playing against UCI. It was a lot of fun playing against Baruch too. We both had some close matches, and for me, I don't get to play at LAN too often anymore, just because most of the LANs that kind of happen in this area, I kind of run them now, so I don't have the same chance to compete. So it was a lot of fun.
Isn't it fun? You grow up, you take more responsibility, and you forget actually how to enjoy hobbies. It's like the greatest thing ever. I'm like, I don't remember the last time I like actually competed. Like recently, finally, just because like we figured out our CSL schedule, and I have like some evenings I started like playing Madden again and stuff like that. Like actually remembering to enjoy my like life and stuff again. Just like. I can't just be reading CSL emails all day telling me that they can't play on the broadcast and please take us off as soon as you can. Like we can't. We have a test at 11:30 at night. I'm just like, what? I'm just like, how's that possible? Like, how's that possible? I'm like, why are you taking classes that late? Damn it! Like, go earlier. But Yeah, I think that you made a really good point right there, and hopefully we'll be able to, I want to say, replicate a bit of that experience and obviously improve on it going into next year. It was just really enjoyable seeing all the teams come out, being able to compete every single year, having a little bit of that live Toronto audience there as well, and having that general mixture. I don't know if that setting, I don't know, for that setting, is that something that you guys would want again, or would you prefer to have like a general, even locate, like speaking of location, would you have it at a theater, or would you rather have it, say, at like some kind of auditorium or some kind of school center where it would be a little bit easier for students to attend or to kind of attain information on? Say we did it at UCI, at your guys' esports arena, for example. Well, would you rather have it there, or would you rather have it at the movie theater?
If we're doing it between those two options, probably at the arena.
Mm-hmm.
But like the year before, didn't you guys do it at DreamHack? I thought that was pretty cool, to be honest, because like people can come to DreamHack not even just solely for Counter-Strike or for the Collegiate League, but they can also come for, you know, a variety of different games, professional teams, other tournaments. Something like that, I feel like would be a little bit more, I guess, like grasping for the public in a way, you know, to pull more attention and more viewers.
They're exposure centered.
I'm nodding, but inside my head, I'm remembering doing production and being like right in the middle of like 10 stages, and I'm just like, shit, we can't really get our audio clearly to us because we hear the Smash stage, the Pokken stage, the StarCraft, the Hearthstone stage, like all these feeds are coming into our mics, and the caster's like, yeah, we can't hear you. We're like, yeah, we can't hear you either. Just keep going, just keep talking. Like we'll be good, we'll be good. Just keep talking. So no, I know exactly what you mean. What about you, Zach? What kind of a setting do you kind of envision for something like a CSGO for the collegiate community, a final?
I mean, the movie theater sort of thing is becoming kind of like a Toronto sort of meme almost because of the World Gaming thing that just happened there, and then so it's like people are wondering, are we ever going to have a land that's not in a movie theater? That's in the future. I got friends asking me that and stuff from the Toronto area. So I mean, I would probably prefer something like a school setting, just because, yeah, again, like you want as much exposure as possible. So you want people to walk by and then see it and be like, oh, what's that? You know, that gives a lot more opportunity for an audience to develop, and you to be able to expand that audience and, you know, teach people what esports is, which is a big part of what CSL is going to be able to do. As sort of like an esports ambassador in the scene. So I definitely would probably say at a school over a movie theater again.
Interesting.
To add on to that though, I actually would have said it was fine to have it at the theater, but not inside the actual movie theater. Like if it was actually just like kind of outside, that'd be even better, because you'd have all these people who just walk by who, you know, they might just be watching a movie or whatever it is, and they might see it and they'll be like, oh, like what's this type of thing?
Put it right next to the concession stand over there.
Yeah, or you know, somewhere out in the open.
What a wild theater and concession stand. I don't know, maybe it's just me coming from my area, but holy shit, the whole second floor was like a concession stand, like restaurant, poutine. That's dope. You guys got that figured out. The whole cheese curds, gravy. I'm just like, wow, like Canada's amazing. You guys have it figured out. So yeah, that would definitely be interesting. I think maybe that was the appeal of the DreamHack in the previous year, having the crowd be able to sort of, even though for the production side it was a bit of a nightmare, the fact that where we were located in the middle of like literally all the stages, the professional stages, allowed for people as they walk around to come by, check out what's going on. And so I think, yeah, there are benefits to both of them, but definitely with more exposure to teams, probably would be the better option to an extent. All right, well, we're not going to hang on that too much. Last year is last year. Again, congrats to SUNY. UBC finished up in second, and then there was a third, fourth place finish by UC Irvine. Winners, though, in our hearts. First place always. Hoping, though, to chase that one again, and which we will kind of get to here in a couple topics. But going on to the second topic of today, we have Strawberry here. And he does some things at UCI that we might not know about. The program really got some traction last year in terms of developing the arena, looking to have scholarship programs, and some of it flushed out really well. Some of it is still kind of up in the air, at least from what my understanding. Fill us in right now. What is going on at UCI in terms of not just CSGO, but in general esports and the program developing? Or,
Okay,
or at least what you can let us know.
Well, I can let you know whatever you want, you know. I'm not contracted right now, so. But, you know, for UCI, like this year, we just brought on a scholarship Overwatch team, and they won the CSL Summer Series. I want to say there was like 11 teams in them. They got first place. They seem to be pretty good. I'm gonna be seeing them this weekend at a tournament at UC Riverside, so that's gonna be cool. But overall for like the program, it's definitely growing. At first, it was like kind of hard getting traction for it, obviously. But like once they started bringing on the league team and they brought on the Overwatch scholarship team, and hopefully for next year, we're pushing really hard for like Counter-Strike CSGO team. Mainly like the main selling point for the arena is like research. That's kind of like how it got sold to our university to get an arena, was to do research on gaming, video games research, and stuff like that. Like in other words, sit in the arena and watch streams all day. Like guns don't kill people. People kill people. Like something like that.
When you say that, I imagine like somebody having like a heart rate monitor on his hand, just like tilting in the middle of a CSGO match, cursing. You're like, you see, there is aggressive attitudes towards the game. Maybe there is something happening here. Just like that's the research they're doing. Like, yeah,
I'm seeing a negative correlation here, but nah. But like that's usually how we do it. Because like in our arena, we have like little poster boards of like research that they done, and they post it up and stuff like that. But no, the program's going pretty well. Just keep pushing it, trying to be more inclusive to more games. Definitely, like, we have a really good Smash team. I would say probably one of the best, if not the best. Because, like, UCI is kind of seen as, like, an academy for Smash players to come, learn how to play. Pro players are there. We have, like, a dude that's, like, ranked 20 in the world or something, and another one that's, like, ranked 60. So, besides that, though, it's looking pretty good.
In terms of right now, the leading team of the program, who's kind of carrying a lot of the weight right now? Is it the League of Legends side? Is it, or what has the most weight right now? It not maybe not performance wise, but in terms of like numbers of the program, who's bringing in some of the biggest numbers right now at UCI?
Like viewership count in a way, or just like
general like roster, like player roster.
Just general involvement, maybe too.
Or think of it like you hold an esports meeting at UCI in general, like an introduction meeting for the club or the group, whatever. Who is all there? Like, how would you break it down in terms of like percents?
So the league team probably would be number one.
It hurts to say, doesn't it? It just hurts to say. I feel like I had to rephrase the question. I feel like I had to rephrase the question like 5 times to make you like.
I have to be careful here. I'm treading on some water, but yeah, League and then Overwatch and then Counter-Strike. But in terms of achievements, Counter-Strike has more achievements than both those teams combined.
Ooh.
So,
it is true.
On paper, it is true.
We
won last year. We won 3 LANs in a row. We won Winter Games Fest at UC San Diego. We won BeachCon at Cal State Long Beach, and we also won Zoncade. And all 3 of those were in a row. We sweeped them. We went undefeated until the finals for most of those tournaments. So like, we have more LAN wins than League and Overwatch, because I don't think they have any LAN wins under their belt with their full 5 roster. Because I know they outsource, like they get people from other colleges, which is it's cheating in my book. Just saying.
UCI, I will say UCI League did okay. They did actually not okay. They actually did pretty good. But yeah, on paper, yeah, CS:GO team is results wise, it definitely holds it down for UCI.
Yeah. So I'd say in that order.
Not too
League,
bad.
Overwatch, Counter-Strike. But Smash is huge though. Like, but Smash is more like something that you can't really play online. It has to be in person. So it's a little interesting when you get into the Smash.
Yeah, I agree with you about the Smash thing. Smash is kind of like, in an esports perspective, it's kind of like a weird cousin of like these PC esports. Like it's its whole own culture outside of esports. Smash is an esport, but like it would also survive without esports, I think, as like a culture and a community. They're kind of like different like that.
Mm-hmm.
No, definitely would agree. Have you guys had any cool utilization of the arena, or how does how is the arena utilized, and like scheduling, and who gets to use it and when, and what kind of things do you guys run there? Because I think right now with a lot of these universities like North Texas that are building these arenas, and some of the other universities, I think a lot of people are wondering, or they just imagine it, that it's just like 1 or 2 teams that just sit there and practice all day long, and nobody else in the community can get in or utilize it in any way, shape, or form. So how is it utilized at UCI?
It's definitely not like that. So at UCI, we have scheduled practice times. So like, for example, the Overwatch team will have from like on Monday through Friday 2 to 3 or something like that, or 2 to 4, and then the league would be like 4 to 6, and Counter Strike would be like 8 to 10 or something like that. Just hypothetically speaking, I'm not saying that's how it actually is, but usually we have scheduled times, usually 3 times a week, anywhere from 12 to 16 hours, and then that's for the teams. So like, we have like our own practice area. So like in the arena, we have like the general population, which you can come in and pay $4 an hour. $4 an hour, that's pretty expensive.
Yeah, it
or,
is.
or $36 for like a whole day.
Think about well, I mean, under the university system, I know that sounds expensive, but like imagine, if I remember right, like using the gym, if you were not a student, I think like you had to pay like $5 or something like that. So, and then there are general things for like entry if you're like not a student or something like that. But if you guys are a student, that is kind of weird if it's already taken care of, that you would have to pay to utilize it.
Yeah, we don't have student discounts to my knowledge. I know we have like sometimes like deals where it's like, hey, if you come in our first week and you're a student, you get an hour free. But like we don't have like different rates for students and for the general public.
This is why California has a high GDP. We're charging students to use the land. We're already students.
We're just stealing wallets over here. But yeah, so like we practice in the stage area, and then you have everyone else practicing in like the general area, which I think we have like 80 computers. They're nice. They have like 1080s in them and like 7700Ks with like liquid cooling and SSDs. Like these computers are nice. Like, you know, if I could take one home, I would. Just saying. I would trade my PC in a heartbeat. But for events though, like 2 weeks ago for week 0, we held a fall kickoff event where we included, you know, like show matches for League, Overwatch, and Counter-Strike. Mm-hmm. And we had over 1,000 people show up. So back to the point you brought up earlier was like, should we have it at a theater at like maybe for UCI, for example, or another university with an arena? It would bring in a huge crowd if you had it at like at a college, at least for UCI, because our fall kickoff, we had professional players from CLG, Misfits for CSGO, Dignitas, stuff like that, CLG Red. And like we had thousands of people. Like it was so crowded that you couldn't even walk from one side of the campus to the other. It was just like you're going through people constantly.
That's awesome. I mean, I think that's really going to be the future, though, like utilization and kind of having that balance. Because if I remember, like being at Columbia College last year for the Midwest Campus Clash, they had like rooms for their like practice area and stuff like that, but they didn't, and they called it like their gaming lab, like arena sort of in a sense, but it was like really basically like a room with computers, and it wasn't really like how UCI is actually like laid out really cleanly and nicely. And that's really going to be the future. And again, for me, the thing is always with like esports is it's a cheap investment. Not to like downgrade esports or gaming, but in a sense with like what you're bringing in, the amount of tech that you're bringing in, what you're having to pay for it, it's a lot cheaper to create, I feel like, compared to some certain projects or opening up certain, say, athletic programs. And so hopefully a lot more universities, as they see the UCIs, hopefully North Texas has a successful run where they find the opportunity to find money to get these things built. So that's pretty cool. I mean, in general, I guess the only other thing I would say, is there anything else cool happening at UCI here in the near future that, you know, kind of people should know about, or any cool utilizations by the program?
No, not to my knowledge coming up. Just the only thing coming up is working on a CSGO scholarship program is what's currently in the works. Gotcha.
Awesome. Hopefully that happens. We encourage it. UCI and all you Cali schools and you Pac-12 schools that are having a hard time finding the courage to start a nice little cheap program that's going to not cost you too much and give you a lot of traction and attention. But let's keep moving on to the boat. We have a thing called the CSGO 2017-2018 season starting on Saturday right now, and D1, D2 is set. D2, I love you, but for the sake of this discussion, we're not going to worry about you guys. Don't take offense to that. We'll see you in like 7 months when you guys are like in your top 4, and then we'll like maybe take a look at you.
You guys are savages over here.
Hey, you want the recognition and the glory. You got to play with the big boys sometimes. So if you guys looked, I threw into Slack. If somebody could link it to Strawberry, the standings page, we'll just go one by one with each group and kind of look over some teams, take some predictions, go kind of quick shot on it, and see overall the scope of the season, what we'll be looking at. Let me know when you guys got it opened up.
Yeah, I got it open.
Sweet. Everybody else? Everybody good? Zach?
Yeah. Good.
All right, awesome. All right, at the top, East 3 division, we have Rochester, RIT, Penn State, New York, SUNY, not CUNY, Binghamton, and SUNY Baruch, Penn College of Tech, and Carnegie Mellon. I'm gonna just flat out say most likely CUNY Baruch is gonna steamroll that at least in the fall side of things and probably have a successful run. New York is kind of one of the newer ones hopping in this year, but according to some of the messages and logs I've read, not a lot of confidence over there right now at New York University. So is it pretty evident that we'll see the Baruch boys probably run the table at least in the fall in their conference?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I thought I'd just ask. Sorry.
It's like,
There's not much.
Is
Go
2
ahead,
plus 2 equals 4? Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Baruch's gonna get first.
They had a strong team last year, and now they're adding 4 shot, which makes them even better. And you can tell that these guys they come to play. I mean, they have a steamroll mentality, and when you play, your strategy is you're gonna steamroll everybody, and it starts to work. It's really scary. So I think that they stand a good chance at just kind of doing that to this group and going far.
Gotcha. Well,
Yeah.
that was pretty evident. All right, moving on to the East 2, we got New Hampshire, Maryland, Massachusetts, Amherst, Connecticut, NHIT, Concord's Community, what in the world? Delaware, and Boston University. This one's a little bit more of an interesting conference. I feel like a little bit closer, but probably, if I had to guess, leaning to Connecticut or Maryland. Anybody have some insider thoughts on this one?
Well, Boston has scrimmed. Connecticut has also scrimmed. I'm looking at some of their ESA profiles right now. Maryland has scrimmed as well, so at least these guys are practicing. In terms of who's actually better than the other, I don't know, because most of them just seem to be some of them play open, ESA Open right now, and they're 2-3 or 3-3 type records. So it's kind of you don't really know at that point. But I mean, I think it's good that at least that they're practicing, so they're trying to be up there.
They're trying before they consider dropping out 5 games in, probably.
I mean, this group looks pretty fair on paper. I don't really recognize any of the college names, or I don't know anyone that goes there. So I'm sure they're all around the relatively similar skill set, in their group. So I feel I'm curious who's going to come out on top. I want to say UConn, but I'm not sure.
The first couple weeks will tell a lot for this group. You'll see a few teams probably start to pull ahead of the other ones, and then we'll have a better idea. But I mean, yeah, I think I agree with you guys. It's not really one clear favor.
But at the same time, it is Nuke this week, and Nuke is not much of a buggy map, right?
Are you sure it's Nuke?
Yes, it is.
I heard the map was Mirage, maybe. I don't know.
100%.
We might be implementing Dust 2. Who the hell knows anymore? I don't know what the week 1 map is anymore. I've heard so many rumors so far. Yeah, for those who don't know, that's a little inside joke of the cause of Mahone, the one and only.
But yeah, it's Nuke though, so it's a little bit different where not everybody's gonna know how to play the map. So there might be some weird upsets that come here and there, right? Or maybe some games are just gonna be complete stops, you don't know, right? It's one of those wild card maps where you don't know who's gonna come out on top. It's not a clear favorite just because everybody doesn't know how to play as well as Cash, Mirage, those kind of maps.
True. Yeah, Nuke's it's a strat heavy map, so whatever teams are practicing Nuke are probably going to win their matches against a team that has never played it. It's just going to be a steamroll.
Yeah, I casted 2 matches this week, both on Nuke, and one team was had evidently practiced, and the other team evidently had probably never scrimmed, and it was just a steamroll both times, and it was not pretty.
Well, East 2, you got way more recognition than I would have thought you guys would have gotten, but good we got some discussion out of that group. Moving down to the East 1, Rutgers, West Virginia, Virginia Tech, VCU, North Carolina State, Abbott, Stevens Institute of Technology, and Clemson. We already have a 1-0 lead going in favor of Rutgers, taking the first match, and then on top of that, we have as well. My personal thought would probably be North Carolina State. Might be one of the leads coming out of this group, as well as Rutgers, most likely. Any thoughts on this group?
North Carolina State University is they literally play every season of collegiate. I think their team, what was his name, Don Ross or whatever. I think he started playing collegiate when I started playing, so I was back in 2014. So this team has been around forever essentially. Mm-hmm. As far as other teams, I think Virginia Tech and West Virginia are pretty decent as well. They would contend with North Carolina State, so As far as like some of the other schools, I don't know. I think Rutgers has been practicing too.
Yeah,
So,
they're
yeah.
pretty good.
It was a close game between them and Clemson. It's 16-14 for Rutgers. So I mean, like, could be a close division. I think I do agree with Mahone though about North Carolina. I recognize some of those names even back from like NCSPA days. Like,
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
yeah, that's a long time ago. I do recognize some of those names. So I mean, sheer chemistry alone can bring a lot of good vibes in this league. I think if you play like outside of this or played a long time, chemistry can be huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rutgers is. Yeah, I'm looking at Rutgers USA profile. Yeah, they scrimmed. Maybe they've had 12 scrims this month so far, and it's only been 13 days in. So I think that's a pretty good rate.
Yeah, they're going ham on scrims.
That's how you burn out and start falling behind in classes, and that's how you get that message like the Friday before the Saturday, like, hey, we actually need to study. Can we reschedule a match? Like, yeah. Well, it's good to hear that they're being active. I think consensus is most likely Rutgers and North Carolina State will probably lead. By the way, North Carolina State, if you're out there, I did receive your really sour message about not being scheduled in the fall in a broadcast. The next opening we have, I will try to find a spot for you. If you guys are out there, I will try. I apologize. Don't get mad at me. It's a complicated process, and a lot of teams end up dodging and hopping out. As you see by my diagonal bottom right there, Mr. Strawberry. I've gotten a request from him as well to bypass one of the broadcasts, so it does happen. So you guys will have your opportunities. All right.
I'm going to plead the fifth here.
Yeah, there you go. Midwest 3, looking at it, the Ohio State University coming back this year. It seems like they're a little bit stronger again, in my opinion. Tiffin University, Wichita State, who had actually, I think, an okay year. They barely squeaked into the playoffs last year. Northern Iowa, Kansas State, Iowa State, Case Western Reserve University. Thoughts, boys?
OSU, yeah, they were around last year as well, but they kind of just stopped playing halfway through the season after some bad results. Wichita State should be pretty good though. They did make it to the playoffs last season, and even when they made the playoffs, there's like some forfeit loss or something like that. Like, they didn't even play their first playoff match, so yeah. I kind of expect that they should put up they should be one of the top seeds going into this group. Maybe Ohio State as well. I'm not too sure about Ohio State though. I know they've been playing though.
Yeah, I think Wichita is probably a safe bet for this group, but I would put Ohio second. Yeah, I think they got it, but the only other contender in this group that looks like they could go up is probably Kansas State. If I recall correctly, they scrimmed a lot last season. But
no, it might be the other school you're thinking about. Kennesaw State. You're thinking about KSU, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's not the
They're
same
so
one.
similar.
It's not the same one.
Okay,
I mean, they pretty much are like purple KSU. Yeah, we could see the confusion. Yep. Midwest 3, yeah, I mean, not really too much there. Hopefully somebody will come out. Ohio State obviously already taken their first game, so we'll see how the rest of the season kind of unfolds for them. As we move down to the Midwest 2, Kentucky, Illinois, Trine, Southern Illinois, Edwardsville, Robert Morris, Northern Kentucky, and Dakota State. Maybe a little more intrigue with Illinois, Southern Illinois University, Robert Morris, and Kentucky all in the same group. I don't think outside of maybe Robert Morris, the skill levels are actually too far apart from each other. Would I be wrong saying that?
RMU has a pretty solid roster.
Yeah, they have a pretty good roster coming into this year.
They're going to win decisively.
Yeah, they picked up some new players as well, and they're looking really strong. Like, even if they even practice, like I would say if they don't even practice, they'll probably still top the group. But if they practice, like, they have a really good shot of like winning this whole thing, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Yeah, if they practice. But
feel free to release the secret to the rest of the CSGO.
Spoiler alert. RMU's going to win.
Well, I mean, on a serious note, who are the players, or who do you guys think are going to be some of the leads for RMU, if you guys have that strong of an opinion on them?
Lennox is still playing, right?
Lennox is still playing. Spermy's still playing.
Lennox, I noticed right away as well. Yeah. So,
I think they picked up what was his name, Plasma. If you know him, he plays on ESA. He plays in ESA main, if I recall. I remember playing against him a few times.
He was an IM player, I want to say. And he's ranked G too? Let me see. No, he's ranked A. But yeah, he was a, you're right, main player.
Yeah. If I recall, he was on the roster. I don't know. I saw him on the roster. I don't know. Maybe he's not playing. Let me check.
Looks like he's bouncing around a little bit this season.
Yeah.
But he used to play for Detriment, though, in IM
Yeah.
in season 25.
And they also have Reality on their team, too. So he's on a 4-1 main team right now as well. So, Army could be packing a really good roster this year. And if they practice, they have a really good shot of making it all the way. Because it's just that last year, like, they didn't practice at all, really. They just showed up for their matches, essentially. And they're able to outskill most of the teams, but not against my team.
I know, that was a series. I got worried. If you guys got, like, the wrong pull for the server, that could have gone...
yeah.
Could have been rough.
It could have been, yeah.
All right, so RMU pretty unanimous then for most likely taking the Midwest too.
Yeah,
I mean, there could be an upset with was it Illinois, like Illinois Orange or whatever they are. They could be, but I don't see it.
And maybe if their monitors are off, it might happen. If they're on, I don't know.
Install some malware, get into the system, start getting the DDoS going, so it can happen. All right, moving down to the big Midwest group, we got Tennessee, UT Dallas, Houston, Texas Tech, North Texas, Texas Austin, Texas Arlington, Texas A&M. Out of all the Midwest groups, I feel like this has some of the most talent here with guys like Austin, North Texas, Texas Tech. Arlington played pretty well for a chunk of the season last year. Houston as well, if I remember correctly. A&M was a little bit in the middle of the pack in some of their groups, but still in some games they performed pretty well. So lots more talent, I would say, here just in general. Not very top heavy. Would I be wrong to say that?
No, you're completely right. This group's pretty balanced. Like, I honestly can't predict who's going to be on top. It's pretty close.
It's a battle of Texas here, right? I mean, that's like every university's got Texas in their name somewhere, it looks like.
Tennessee's like, hey, don't forget about us.
It's like 3 University of Texas or University of Texas at blanks. So I mean, I don't know, confusing division, but I would have to hand to the Matthew McConaughey fan club for sure.
Really?
Just because of their name.
Think so?
Over Up Premier. Yeah, right? You're thinking the same thing. I'm like, Up Premier, I want to say they made top 16 last year.
They made
they're
top 8.
recognizable.
Oh, they made. So was that the team that I think I played against them?
Yeah. Well, my team played against them during the regular season last year, but yeah, they UH Premier made top 8 last season. They lost to UCLA in a 2-1 in a BO3 for the playoffs. So I think their roster is mostly similar, but at the same time, like from my experience actually playing against them, I think that this could be a pretty balanced group. Like, I don't think they're that much superior than every other team that's on here.
Oh yeah, no, I was definitely memeing with the whole. Yeah, I know, like they're not just gonna run away with it. No, it's gonna be a close division.
But UT Austin could have a good team because I remember 2 years ago, they actually went top 16 for CSL that year. So if they're bringing any of those players back from before, it could be a fight between those two teams, but it's tough to say.
Well, it seems like we don't have too many strong opinions, which hopefully results in a lot of cool games. We do have a lot of these Texas schools playing in the first half on broadcast, especially towards the latter half, week 5 through 7. So if you guys get a chance, be sure to check them out. Most of them will be playing in that 7 p.m. Pacific time slot as it gets later. So come and cheer for them, especially if you're from one of the UT schools or one of the schools in the conference. All right, let's move down south. We have Georgia, Central Florida, Louisiana State, Georgia Tech, Georgia State, Georgia Southern, and Alabama. Not that it's a tough call, but generally Georgia Tech's okay. From what I remember, Georgia was kind of middle of the pack. Central Florida, I really don't know how they're going to be coming into this. The rest of the Georgia State and Georgia Southerns were, I think, as well more middle of the pack. I think maybe Georgia State was a tiny bit better last year. And then for me, Alabama is kind of a blank as well. I'm not sure. Well, while these schools are awesome in the SEC, how they're going to fare in the CSL, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think Georgia State is going to come out on top of this one. They've been practicing a lot. They have 3 guys who currently play in Maine right now, so they should have a pretty solid roster from what I can tell. I'm just looking at the other teams here as well. Central Florida that you're talking about, they played in AVGL last year, if I recall. I don't remember if they made playoffs, but I remember there being like some kind of future for them. Strawberry, have you guys played them?
No, in AVGL, I don't recall them being in playoffs.
Okay.
To my knowledge, I could be wrong though, because I was like that week when was rough, because like it was just like match after a match. We only had like a 5-minute break between BO3, so I'm sitting here like, man, I'm mentally exhausted. But who's on Georgia State though? You said there's 3 main players.
Yeah, or at least they're all on the same team. If you just look up Georgia State University on ESA, you'll find them.
I didn't know that.
They're on a 3-1 main team. C bench.
Are they active on the roster, like main 5?
Yeah, they play on it.
Cool.
So, but other than that, I think Georgia Tech could actually, if I recognize some of these names from back then, I have no idea who's actually playing on the roster, but they could put up a fair fight as well. So, I would still say Georgia State, and then between Georgia Tech and Central Florida, I don't know enough about
Georgia
the
Tech
other teams.
Probably would. I'd say just because I know I recognize the names too, and I believe these guys have played together before. I think, and this team might have played together last season.
Yeah,
or several of them play together last season. So I mean, that would be my only thing for this team, is that their chemistry could be developing a little faster than other teams, maybe. But yeah.
I mean, because from Georgia Tech, the only people I recognize now is Bad Blood, Smog, and I think that's all I can tell based on the CSL site, at least. They used to have, like back in 2015, Akubar, Hanson SP, all those guys, but all those guys graduated at this point.
So, what do we think? Georgia Tech, probably. Georgia State, somewhere in that ballpark, most likely.
Probably Georgia State.
Maybe Dark Horse, Central Florida.
Probably.
Again, the advantage for Central Florida, if there is one, if they do this right, they're one of the, if not the largest public university, right, in the States. They're like enormous. They got like 55,000 students at that school. Like it's huge. So if maybe they at least build a base this year, if not for, if they I want to say if they do at least subpar or middle of the road, they can at least have a base to start building into next year. It's one of those things where you have such an enormous university, you're bound, I feel like, to find some players or be able to at least improve your depth in your roster to an extent, or start some kind of a system. Like being from like universities that have had like 10, 11,000 or even less, like having a 55,000 person like base that you can recruit and build a base from, like holy hell, that's like a dream for a lot of universities, I feel like. So but looks like that's pretty definitive. Let's move up where winter stays a little bit longer than the rest of the North American countries. Up north, we have Toronto, Ottawa, Ryerson, McMaster, the Falcons of de Montreal, and then École de Technologie Supérieure, and Carleton University. Obviously, from this group, for me, Montreal sticks out. One of the best teams, I think, recently in the CSL. I have no clue, though, what the hell happened to them at the start of the playoffs. Still to this day, I had them at the start of last year as one of my favorites to win, and they just disappeared at the very start of the playoffs. Other good teams that, for me, stick out, Toronto, Ryerson can have the potential. The GGs over at Ottawa aren't too bad. And even McMaster has had kind of a couple moments, if I remember correctly. The only really bad part is probably École Supérieure, and Carleton maybe kind of taking the tail of this, but I would expect most likely Montreal or Toronto to kind of lead the way again for a group like this.
Sure.
This is a tough group, actually. This is a tough group because I have no idea how Montreal's going to play now, because I think Epsilon is not playing anymore. Like, I think he graduated or something like that. It seems like he's not he's not like a starter, essentially. Ryerson has shown that they can be pretty good. Ottawa has some good players too, so And Toronto also has some good players as well.
Yeah, I
It's
gotta
just
say
that,
Toronto.
Yeah.
Toronto's got. I think Toronto is gonna probably win the group because with their combination of Intox and Felix and Denya, they play like a lot of lands in this area together.
Yeah.
Denya coming from Premier, obviously last season. It's a very strong player. Fram, a former teammate of mine, is on that team, so I have to give them a little bit of the edge, just because he's an old buddy. But I think they could definitely contest the new Montreal, let's say.
the weird
I
thing
mean-
is, but the weird thing is that this roster, this Toronto roster, like I remember seeing it before and having the exact same thoughts, but like they didn't make playoffs or something last year, and I was expecting them to because they have some pretty good players on it, but it's just like it just didn't happen for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say because like Toronto was in groups, but I think they got knocked out with like a 4-3 record or
Yeah,
something.
like they didn't make playoffs because I was so surprised seeing that.
But Ottawa though, they were in the round of 8 because they played us
Mhm.
to go to Toronto. They were pretty good, but I feel like Mario and Prompt were like the main heavy hitters of that team.
Mhm.
Like they kind of carried them to playoffs and through playoffs.
Yep.
But Ryerson's also pretty good as well. They made round of 16, which I also played Ryerson last year, and
Yep.
they almost took a map off of us. So like in this group, Montreal was good, but will they be able to consistently keep that up against like Ottawa and Ryerson? I don't know.
It's really tough to say. I don't think so. In my opinion, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Is this that type of group that we're going to see a very tight, unless somebody like a Montreal or maybe a Toronto breaks away early? Is this going to be one of those where everybody's just going to be sitting around 5-2, 4-3, most likely at the end of the fall?
It could be. Yeah,
Yeah.
it could be.
There's gonna be like it's gonna come down to round win loss. Like definitely pay attention to that in this group.
No
towards
one's
the
going to
end
go
of it.
undefeated.
Yeah,
Yeah, like you
definitely.
said.
I would say.
It's
Well,
going to be close.
if-
But I would say
there
Ottawa
was a-
maybe has the greatest
Yeah,
chance.
yeah. I was gonna say I think Ottawa has the greatest chance. Well, actually, either Ottawa or Toronto have the greatest chance of going undefeated if they do, or if there's a team.
Toronto,
that
if
does.
they perform the way we did, like they could.
Yeah,
Obviously, like you're right. They didn't make playoffs last year, but pretty sure they didn't have Denya in their last year's lineup.
no, they did. They did. I remember watching this
they?
one time. Yeah, but it's just
Okay,
they didn't
yeah.
practice at all. They didn't even practice. Like not even. They just showed up for matches.
Yeah, they show up and play today. Yeah, so maybe if they put some more time into it, like I know these guys are good. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Awesome. So most likely close group, but lots of talent. Hopefully, we'll keep an eye on them, see how they do. Most likely, a lot of these teams will be on an advantage in the spring when they get actually split up from each other, and they'll have better shots at finishing towards the top and actually getting into playoffs. So, from the predictions, we'll keep an eye out on them, and especially throughout the whole entire season. All right, let's keep moving. We have a couple more groups to go. The Easy North group, North 1, Wilfrid Laurier, University of Ontario Institute of Technology. That one university, I think it's called British Columbia or something like that. They play games on occasion. How did you guys get out of the West? You guys lucked out. What the hell? Who put you in the North?
I don't know. It always happens every year, but
You guys just lucked out. You guys got lucked out. Of the
how
West.
does the ping work for that? Like, because I know
It's-
Saints gaming.
it's so frustrating.
They're in my city, and I'm in Windsor, so like
it's actually so frustrating playing in this group. Well, not that I have to play anymore, but like back then, back then it was like we'd have to schedule we had to figure out what a good server is. So that's probably like Denver or Chicago for that kind of distance, and we'd also have to schedule like our time zones too, because they're like 3
Yeah.
hours ahead, right? So it's just like it makes it difficult to schedule. So we almost just have to do like default, but sometimes 3 hours ahead, or sometimes that kind of thing. But I don't know. UBC is always like put in this weird group full of where there's like West people and East people. I don't know why.
Sheridan College, Simon Fraser, St. Clair, and Lambton. If I'm not mistaken, our boy True is doing things with St. Clair right now to
Yes, he
get
is.
St. Gaming going and underway. Lambton obviously just opened up their esports program.
Yep.
UBC has a fairly high-touted British Columbia esports program. Simon Fraser in other games has been really good. This is, I feel like, their big first attempt at like really doing something to CSGO related, at least with the adjustments that I see. Ontario Tech most likely going to be sandbag of the group, or Wilfrid Laurier. One of those teams is realistically going to be a good
I don't want to like
sandbag.
rat on them too hard. because like obviously I have a lot of high hopes for them, and St. Clair is in my city, and they're like kind of like hometown boys to me. But I don't think they stand a chance in this division. Just knowing their players, and I play against them at LAN in this city, and I know a couple of their players like they came into the last LAN and they like had never played an ESEA game before. And this was just in the summertime, so it's like I think that they could like, if True does things right, he could maybe get them like on the right track to becoming better players this season. But I don't think that they stand a chance in this division.
I wouldn't count them out just yet, because before I came to UCI, like we had one of the worst Counter-Strike teams in CSL, and then no one played ESEA. Everyone was like new, and I just kind of whipped everyone into shape. And it's possible, but you got to have someone that's really high daddy to do it. You can't just like.
I know every player on that team and True himself. So I mean, like I know.
Though
I
if
think
you
I
had an organizing or a leading body, though, True is a good guy to have that lead, though, in that area. So if there is somebody that could lead them, I feel like he would be that person that could really build that program up and help them out a lot. So
Dude, on the administrative side of things, I know he's doing like a lot, for sure, to get these guys in like a good position. But I don't know if he's like able to do the hours for helping them practice. But having like a mind like his helping them with practice would be huge.
Mhm.
Like knowing the players on that team, they definitely would need like outside help to improve past a certain point. I think there's a certain point where they won't get any better this season.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Just to keep it short and cute, British Columbia taking the group.
100%.
Yeah.
This group's it's a battle of second.
I'll
Who's
say
going to get
so.
second is the question.
Okay.
I'm saying that, and I'm not, being biased or anything, but
You're allowed to be biased.
no, but I know.
Like
it's
we're the ones that are going to judge you for saying something that probably everybody knows already.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, like I've played against a UBC team a few times already. Like what it's going to be this year, and I'm pretty sure they'll make it out of this group as first, like no problems at all.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Things also to watch for this group, I would say watch St. Clair, watch Lambton. Anytime you got actual programs that are trying to build up behind an esports program, not just bringing in a basic public brand new team. Always curious to see how they perform under more structure. It's just one of my curiosities to see how they do in the fall. And if they don't do as well as they expect in the fall, how do they respond? Not to sidetrack to a different game, but Dota 2 would be, for us, a great example coming to mind. Robert Morris, their first year in Dota 2, I think they went 1-13, something like that. Stuff that would it like really took me back. I was just like, oh god, like you guys, I don't know if you want to keep investing into this one. They came back the following year last year and they actually performed really damn well. It was a lot of the similar players, and so they had time to build, they had time to practice, they had time to get better and improve, and they actually did much better last year. So would be interesting to keep an eye out on them. All right. Moving down, we got, like I mentioned, a couple more. We got the mixed division. We have Washington from the west. We got Wisconsin from the north. Boulder from my neighbors in Colorado. Nevada over in Vegas. Michigan State. Sparty. Maryville. Hello. What are you guys doing in the CSGO world? Minnesota and Utah, who also just opened up a esports program as well, and they kind of have their own things going on over there. Personally, this is kind of a jumble of teams, in my opinion. From experience and just knowing what a lot of these teams are going to bring, I would expect most likely Minnesota and Wisconsin and Boulder, probably Colorado, to take the lead in this division. But I think it could be as much of a toss-up in some case with some of these other schools.
I think you're right. Like Colorado Boulder's probably going to take first because they have an IM team right now.
Yeah.
And they're pretty good. They're like 3-2 in IM. They scrim us a lot. They've definitely come a long way from last year. Like the beginning of last year, Boulder, and to now, it's like two different teams. But like the only other team I can see contesting them would be
Maryville, maybe. Maryville has a 4-1 open team right now, so maybe them. They've been playing, and their wins are convincing too. It is open, but I mean, yeah.
Are they like
4-1.
16-5?
Yeah, 16-3, 16-4, 16-5, and their one loss was at 19-16, and they had one win that was at 16-12. So, I mean, yeah, they could be.
Look at Mahone creeping through that. So
I know, right?
Gotta know sometimes,
Community manager doing the research,
I love it. I love it. God, I wish I had the time to like get nitpicky with all of those stats again to be able to do that. Do we look at those groups sort of in the same way that we looked at the North 2 group, but the skill level might be a little bit lower in general? This could be another one of those tight groups, but not as many heavy hitters, probably.
Yeah, well, I mean, then again, we're only really talking about 2 teams right now. I don't know too much about some of the other teams because I know Minnesota used to be pretty, like their collegiate team used to be pretty good, but I think their rosters just like changed so much over the year that I have no idea whether I have no idea who any of these players are that are going to be playing. So I don't know how good they are either. And Crimson or Utah, yeah, no idea. It's so hard to tell.
I'm just trying to get you guys to talk a lot of shit, to be honest. I'm trying to bait out like the stories of like, yeah, we faced them in open and we whacked them, just waxed them, just like, yeah, they're gonna be nothing or something like that. So
Sure, I don't like it's hard to say. I mean, like it looks the only thing I can tell about Utah is that whoever's managing their program has a really hard time telling people that they're not good enough to play on the team because their roster's like 30 people. So they like that's it. They're you can have a main roster and it's good to have a lot of subs, but I mean this is like ridiculous. Come on.
I think they just forgot to remove some of the people. I mean, because Utah used to have a couple of good players. Like if you see Hydrex and Loyal, like they both used to be on a IM team together, and I think Hydrex is on a main team right now, but I'm pretty sure they're not playing this season or this year.
all right.
Yeah, I mean, I might be wrong. I don't know. Just trying to I'm trying to do Dan's dirty work.
All right, so most likely we'll see maybe a mix of Boulder, maybe Minnesota, maybe Maryville, maybe Wisconsin, somewhere in that ballpark. If anybody else pops out, it might be a little bit of a surprise, but at the moment that's kind of looking like where it seems. We'll move down to the final 2. We have the West 2, an interesting bag of teams. We have Arizona, San Jose State. I feel like a little bit of a revitalized San Jose State. San Diego State, Grand Canyon University, Cal State University Long Beach, Cal Poly Pomona, and Arizona State. Now, I'm just going to cross out Arizona. I'm going to cross out Arizona State. I'm going to cross out Grand Canyon University, and I'm going to cross out San Diego State. I love you guys. I wish you luck in the fall, and you guys are going to compete well, I bet. But let's talk Cal Poly Pomona, CSULB, and San Jose State. What are they going to be bringing to the table?
I actually know these teams pretty well. For example, like Cal State Long Beach was playing in the online qualies for this tournament this Sunday at UCR. But
their roster is really different now, isn't it?
it's a completely different vibe. I think they have a
like,
girl on.
They're not bringing the hentai squad?
No. No, they're not. Like Chai's gone, Decca's gone.
Jin Dok is gone too. That's a big name. Jin Dok, the biggest reason why Cal State Long Beach even made it as far as they did during the playoffs. Like,
Dude.
it was unbelievable.
He's good. He plays on like 3.5 cents with like mouse excel. It's outrageous. Like if you ever see him at LAN, his mouse pad's like this big. It's so small. Just like moves his hand a little bit. But
He's playing in rank S right now too, isn't he? Right?
Yeah, he's in rank S.
Yeah.
He seems like he's holding his own. Speaking about Cal Poly though, they have a new roster. So they only have one player from the last season, which is Keckle, their captain, and they picked up 4 new players. And I played them. We had a show match at our UCI Esports kickoff a couple weeks ago, and we played them in the show match. So like, they have potential. They just need to obviously put in a lot of work and practice a lot, and just get the team in shape. Because right now they're not in shape, but I believe they can possibly get in shape though in the future. So if I had to like take a guess for this group, San Jose State's going to win it decisively because I heard their new roster is pretty solid now. They picked up some ranked G players. Some of their players actually are dedicated again this year, instead of taking like a gap break like last year. But
I heard C-Dub's chunky butt is back too as well playing.
I always see him online.
I love C-Dub. Welcome back. I'm glad to see you as a player. So hopefully that'll be a lot of fun. I mean, do you guys think most likely San Jose State, the unanimous for first place, and then probably a 2-3 battle between Cal Poly and Long Beach most likely?
Most likely.
Yeah,
I would say so, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a team that just comes out of here because there's some teams that you don't know.
Am I really at fault for saying that like Arizona, San Diego State, Arizona State, and Grand Canyon are most likely going to be the bottom 4 of the group?
I don't think Arizona, like University of Arizona, is going to be that bad because they had a decent run last year, if I recall. And then Arizona State, this is a team that used to have Strebber and like what's his name? The other guy. I don't remember his name right now, but they used to have like a decent amount of individual skill on this roster before. But from what it looks like right now, it's like no idea. Like everyone is just so many rosters are like different in this group that it's so hard to tell. Other than San Jose State, like they're the only names that I even kind of recognize in a way.
All right. Let's move on to our final group, the West UC Irvine, taking title winner group, most likely. We have UC Santa Cruz, UC Riverside, UCLA, UC Irvine, UC San Diego, Concordia, and UC Berkeley. Of the UCs, what do you see happening in this group?
This one,
I mean, let's start with Strawberry.
Honestly.
Feel free to feel free to peacock a little bit, in front of us. Show us the feathers.
Well, I feel pretty confident because UCLA had some people graduate. Like Gimp graduated, and I want to say another player did because I saw him looking on ESPN and stuff. They haven't leaked their roster to me yet. I asked him, but I got no response. So I don't know what they're bringing to the table. But I'm assuming Gimp was a pretty huge factor on that team. Like his aim was insane. That dude would it's just insane. Like his cross replacement, his flicks, like everything. Like that dude was nuts. So losing him it's like losing Zhou Jing on my team. Like you just it's tough. But I wouldn't count them out though because they still have Oni-chan. UCR, they have a whole new roster this year. My brother's actually the captain of that team, so I'm curious how they're gonna do. I have faith. They've been practicing and stuff, so we'll see how that goes. UC Santa Cruz also has a brand new 5.
Completely different. Right?
5 new players. Yeah, so Mazza Peraza, he's a friend of mine who just got accepted to UCSC, so he's going there right now, and he's running the team, I think. So I'm curious how that team's going to go. I heard they have like a IM/main player that seems to like be their IGL and calling the shots. So like they have a pretty good chance of doing well in this group. And then also you got UC San Diego who freaking won AVGL. I played them in the finals, beat us 2-1. So like that's another hard hitting team. So if I had to say, obviously UCI, like hands down. That's not even a question.
I'm glad we had a 5-minute discussion to get to where we knew we were going to get to.
But for a second, I don't know. It's going to be close. I want to say either UCSD or UCLA, but then again, like UCR or UC Santa Cruz can upset. Like they're close. Like
this is a really tough. This is tough. Yeah.
Berkeley and Concordia University, I don't know much about them. Like I see them in DM servers sometimes, but like besides that, they don't exist in my world at least. Like I don't ever see them.
Any thoughts, Zach?
I'm kind of just looking over this group, and I see like it's not going to be an easy run for UCI, but they're going to take it. I think. Like I mean, it's not going to be like I don't know, like what am I trying to say? It's not going to be bunnies and rainbows for them. They're going to have hard games all season long, and teams are going to be prepared definitely for UCI. So, like when you have a reputation like that coming into a division like this, I mean, there's a lot can happen.
So it's comparatively to an extent like the North 2 groups, you guys will most likely be a lot happier playing in the spring when everybody gets split up away from each other, so you don't have to see every single week a pretty hard hitting team. You can kind of relax your way to the playoffs to an extent. All right.
Oh yeah.
But one thing that we forgot to talk about here is UCI. You guys have some roster changes as well. So to what extent here?
Oh, I thought you were going to say, and breaking news, Deanza has registered for the 2017-2018 season. I'm just like, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, I'll leak our roster right now. So Zhou Jing is taking a break right now. He was obviously our best player. Like him and I were like the deadly duo on the team. We were like the firepower in the way. But like losing him for this season at least, it's gonna be a little rough. Hopefully he comes back though. He just, it's like one of those times where you're playing a game and you like lose passion and you have to take a break, otherwise you're just never gonna love the game again. It's like one of those things. So hopefully he comes back in a couple months. But we lost Zhou Jing. He's like a 6-man now. And then we brought on, we swapped out Spaz because he also is busy with school and stuff. So we picked up another opper named Aliar. He seems pretty good. He's like 12 RWs A on ESCA with like he has a season of Open, but he's currently playing with us in IM, so hopefully he can get some experience that way. We picked up Mark, who played with us in IM last season. We made ESC IM playoffs, lost in the first round, but we made playoffs. Not bad for a season that started off rough. And then we also picked up a guy from our B team, Ryan. So I feel like, despite the roster changes, we have a pretty good roster right now. And I feel confident in it. Obviously, we made lands. We're doing we're doing decent on ESCA. I wouldn't say we're doing good or bad, but it's gonna be interesting though. I'm curious how it's gonna pan out.
Okay.
Would you say then look forward to maybe the real UCI in the spring rather than the fall? The fall is going to be a little bit more of a test run to figure out the roster a little bit, get everybody a little more situated, and see how everybody plays.
Yeah, I would say it's more of like a trial period right now. Yeah, pretty much trial period.
For all you UC schools looking to get a little bit of bragging rights, this might be your time to strike. Just putting it out. This might be your time to strike. You might not have a lot of time, but this is your time to strike. So
just kick us while we're down.
Yeah, exactly. That pretty much finishes up the group section. We actually went really comprehensive, like overly comprehensive on that. So general ideas, and I'm actually going to exclude Mahone and Strawberry from this since you guys are playing teams. Zach,
Not me.
Okay.
Who do you think is going to be one of the top, or give me like 3 or 4 contenders that you see this year going to the finals at the end of it?
I get Baruch, obviously. I'd say Baruch, UBC, and I'll throw UCI the bone, and then I'm gonna go off the wall and say Toronto makes it.
Ooh, that's
bold, like the 23 flavors of Dr. Pepper. Wow, what a that's a pick right there. All right, for me, I would say UBC, UC Irvine. I want to say SUNY Baruch, and then a little bit of a shot in the dark. Oh, who could it be? San Jose State, maybe? Maybe San Jose State. I might see them. I'm worried about getting, if I pick Montreal, I'm gonna get memed again for some reason. Like I'm like you guys kind of broke my heart last year, so I'm feeling a little bitter right now. So I would say SJSU is my 4th.
Why maybe Baruch though? Why'd you say maybe?
It's not even a question.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it depends with how the bracket comes out. I want to say if teams are performing really well, and if you guys, like a UBC runs into them, a UC Irvine full, or one of these teams runs into them, I think they do have an opportunity to take maps off of them. They didn't look completely impervious last year. That's all I'm saying. I think the top teams have a shot at taking out the top teams with each other, and depending on how brackets line up, it could really knock some teams that want to get into the finals or top 4. So
I think it comes down to practice in a sense, and like a team like Baruch, and it's hard to, you don't want to say that team like Baruch doesn't need to practice, but I bet you that they didn't practice very much last year, and they did pretty well. Like these guys
what I
are
remember, at least, like even trying to talk to them, a lot of times they were a lot more focused on ESEA and individual league and their own individual teams rather than their CSL team. So
yeah. I mean, like they're just, if they put in time to practice with this group, that could be really scary. But I mean, other teams could beat them if it comes. They like when you force a pug team to like play tactically, they can get very frustrated, especially if they're players of this skill. So definitely teams like UBC, UCI, I think even Toronto, like they could take them out.
All right.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good point because I know last year we played them online, Baruch, and we went 2-2 in scrims, and we also played them at LAN, not in the, but like in the LAN center. We went 1-1 with them, so like they're definitely beatable. So I don't want anyone to think like, oh no, they have like multiple pro players. It's not possible. It is possible. You just got to take more of a strategic approach to it. You can't just like
you gotta play lights. You gotta play lights out too. That's a
yeah. You gotta be feeling it.
All right, link this little link to Strawberry. I just threw it into Slack. We're getting to our final and most serious topic of the day. If you guys want to pop that link open, we're gonna have to have some. We're gonna have to have some serious opinions on this one. We're gonna be talking about a map that actually we will not be seeing, I think, in the fall half of the season, but Dust 2 reworked, coming back as of last week, and I think just recently it got pre-patched in. It's not officially in the map pool, if I'm not mistaken. I was just on CSGO the other day, so
It's in the beta client.
It's in the beta client. So yeah, I didn't see it as part of the regular ranked map pool. Part of the map, I feel like they almost just like took the Santorini skin and just like threw it over. Santorini skin and just like threw it over. But you guys as players and as tacticians, I want to say, would I be wrong in saying that majority of it is just a little bit of adjustments on positional play, opening up some areas, closing up some areas, adjusting some strategies, especially grenades, smokes, anything like that? What are your guys' thoughts on some of the differences and kind of how this map might be utilized in new ways? Or in which ways are we going to see it tactically utilized or picked for compared to others? Mahone, feel free if you've had a chance to look at it.
Yeah, I ran around the map like a little bit yesterday. Overall, like the overall layout is completely the same. It's just some of the smaller details are different. So I feel like when you come out long A now, it's like so wide compared to before. So I kind of feel like that actually might be better for the T's because like
Yeah,
you
that
can kind of take a
classic
wider
wide
angle.
take.
Yeah, you can kind of take a wider angle on like the pit guys and like the guys who kind of play close right, that kind of thing. So I kind of feel like taking long A is probably going to be much more favored on this version of Dust 2 compared to the other one. But in terms of like how the map plays and like what teams are going to do generally, I don't think it's going to be too different.
I don't think Valve did enough.
Well, the thing is, it's kind of like you don't, as Valve, it's scary to touch a map like Dust 2, right? Because it's been so iconic that you don't want to do anything big. So I don't blame them.
Well, I mean, just looking at the pictures right now, I guess starting off with B site, a little bit of looks like a rework and relay of backup B site. So I don't think that's going to adjust too much strategy. I think that'll probably be played similarly for the most part. And a lot of the B sites very similar. It looks like they didn't really take away outside of the stairs, so it looks like everything is on even ground.
One thing to note as well is the car is actually moved a bit forward now. So if you jump into that car angle, you're not stuck in it anymore. You can actually move out of it.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
That's actually huge.
Yeah. So it actually makes playing car like a reasonable spot now as opposed to before where it's like you play that spot, you get one kill and you're dead instantly.
Yeah, one and done.
Yeah.
Did B-tones get changed at all? I'm just looking at it going back and forth right now. It looks like they just
Doesn't really look like it other than textures too much because I heard the skyboxes didn't get opened like everybody was kind of hoping. Yeah, so
it looks like the entry into B is maybe a tiny bit shorter and the height of it's a little bit taller maybe.
it's skinnier too.
Skinnier.
It's skinnier. That's not good though. An auto sniper and op. Oh my god, I'm having nightmares right now. That could be bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand why I guess I don't understand the logic behind making that smaller without opening up the skyboxes. I feel like that was the trade that you should get, is that you can at least defend yourself going out of that tiny little tunnels with like grenades going over or doing like smoke executes onto the B site that way. And then if you have to go through that tiny spot, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't seem like there's enough given to the T's in that sense.
A side on T side looks like the big difference for me that I could tell is the box that is right below ramp or right on ramp is kind of shoved in, so you can't hide yourself as well. Can you actually have you seen it? Could you hide yourself fully behind that little box?
I think
The model fits like right there.
Yeah, if you look down, I think. I don't know. I don't remember if it's that big a deal.
I think it's so small that nobody's gonna play it anymore. Like nobody's gonna go to it.
But
yeah, because you're dead if you don't kill him. Like you're dead 100%.
There's nowhere to hide. Like you can't. People are just gonna use it to jump onto A site, and that's pretty much it. I don't think they're gonna be like playing behind it, looking for that flank kill anymore on the A takes.
The one difference though at long A.
Hold on.
Maybe
we will get there. We will get there. We're just for those that are following the link. We're just basically going down at the moment all the way. Are you talking about? Were you about to talk about the middle of long A?
I was about to talk about the car at long A. It's different now.
Hold on to that thought right there. We're gonna bounce over to entry to A via cat. Looks like they made the edge on the left side a little bit more, so you could whatever that thing is right there. It looks like you could actually hop on it and hide, maybe a tiny bit. But it looks like it still has the angle towards A site for majority of it. Maybe not the right side of A site, or I guess like close to the boxes or the bottom of the ramp. But Is that going to affect any play? I mean, it looks like it's just like a place where people are going to run around and get caught exiting out of the site.
No, I think it's pretty much the same. The one thing is though is that I think that box, the box on catwalk, like the bricks essentially, I feel like it seems like it's slightly lower than what it used to be.
Yeah,
So,
I feel like I agree with
yeah.
you.
So like when you're peeking from, or like if you're, because before some people would actually kind of play behind those bricks, like kind of like at a slightly elevated spot, kind of looking down for like a headshot angle for a T coming in. Now it's like it used to be a more difficult shot for the T's, but now that the box is a bit lower, I think that's, it's going to make the CTs. It's going to be a worse spot for the CTs if they try that again.
Yeah, you
Like,
can't peek that.
yeah, you can't peek it in the same way.
It'll be interesting on retake servers because like this is like a prominent spot on a couple retake servers is playing the catwalk angles, or not the retake. What am I trying to say? Just like the one-on-one servers. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So like I don't know why I said retakes. That the 1v1 servers, like they play this spot a lot, and that's like one of the prominent maps is the catwalk on Dust 2. So like yeah, you're right. Like that, it's gonna be like the whole upper half of the CT is gonna be showing if they peak that angle.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be easier for a T to get up there, and I mean, I think it might be a little bit skinnier. I don't know, but like a walk way.
Yeah, I think also I'm not entirely sure, but this box looks wooden too. So it looks like you might be able to spam through it more than you did for the bricks back then, right?
Yeah,
So
no,
that's
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spamming is you could spam through it probably. So
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. I guess CT's probably wouldn't even
Yeah.
play there. You have to push
Yeah.
yourself up.
Yeah.
Or you just have to fully commit with like 2 players or something like a
That just
beta
push,
switch.
it's gonna force like, and we talked about the long A take, the classic, you can just swing wide out long A. I think the only thing that this map feels a little bit different is it feels like it's like the old Dust 2 back in like 1.6 source.
Yeah.
It feels like you gotta play like that where you just start swinging.
I can't wait for people to like be hopping from the bottom of like A side.
Yeah, it's just a
from
classic.
the bottom of A side, just plastering the crate. You get walled through the crate just by somebody jumping. That's gonna be sad. All right, let's move. Let's try to finish up here a little bit quickly. Looking at mid right now, the pole got moved up from the T side towards the CT side. I mean, just general opinion, I think that will be messing up some of the vision if you're playing mid on CT side a little bit. It will make moving around and entry for T's a little bit easier, I think, to maneuver around that area of the map. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I feel like this is huge. It's a lot more beneficial for the T side because like before you only had barrels and what was it, pole or whatever? What would they call it back then?
Palm
What was
tree.
it called?
It's called
Palm
palm.
tree.
Yeah,
There
palm
you
tree.
go. I haven't played Dust 2 in forever. So, yeah, I feel like now they have 2 locations that they can play. Like, you have one guy at barrels and one guy pushed up to, like, that wooden pole now, or wooden palm, I guess you could call it. I feel like it's good, though. I kind of like it. A lot better than the old part of it, where the barrels and the palm are at the same location. I think I like the new one.
Yeah.
I mean, how often do you see, I mean, if you guys remember playing on Dust, in terms of the split of people playing B, playing mid, and playing A, like say straight rush, rather than just kind of slowly walking through, say from B side, like what would be the split be? Majority either took a straight A rush, smokes, or took a timed out B rush, right? Not like that many people played through mid, I want to say, from T side. It was just like really risky because it was just such an easy op spot for mid CTs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could like op over top of smokes and stuff, of course, and it's you could split mid control as a CT with somebody playing in CT spawn. I think like now people are gonna have to do that if you want to play 2 mid, like because of the way that this is split. If people are gonna run fast out into mid, you're gonna have to have guys flying up cat because of the forward positioning that we just talked about, because of that box being gone. I think CTs now are gonna be forced to play really aggressive or like gambling in their passive play.
Yeah. I was also about to mention here that I think this pole being moved up gives the T side opper more like a variety of different angles that you can use now as opposed to before, right? Because there's certain parts that look like they're blocked off from the CT that the T could utilize, and you wouldn't know which side he's peeking from the pole, essentially, because you can go like really up close to like the ledge, kind of like, if you know what I mean, and then like the CT wouldn't quite see you yet, type thing. But I think in general, it doesn't show in the screenshot, but when I was going through it, you know how at middle you can kind of jump on Xbox, like not from the CT side but from the T side, you can just do like a straight jump right off the off the ramp part.
Yeah.
Now you can't do that in the same way because there's like a little pallet thing that's next to the box, so it's like a two-stage jump. So you have to jump onto the pallet thing and then go onto Xbox.
So that's slow. Yeah,
That's
gonna
that's
change
gonna be
things.
bad.
Yeah. Because then now the CT, if he's peeking it, like he's gonna see you like do the first jump before you do the second one onto Xbox. So
Also, yeah. So you see, I wanted to ask somebody who's been on this map. So the stairs there against the wall, like you see what I'm talking about against like the cat wall. How that's like stairs, right? Is that smooth when you run up it, or do you like clip every time you hit a stair? Like that would be something that I would want to know.
are you talking about the mid screenshot or the cat one?
Yeah, the mid screenshot.
You're talking about the stairs that are like at lower B tunnels? You mean those ones?
Like,
Or you mean that mid?
Yeah,
Oh, that mid.
yeah. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Do
I
you
hope not.
remember running up
I
it?
don't-
Like,
I
would
did
hope
run up
you
it,
don't-
but
I would hope you don't clip on every step.
I don't remember clipping on every step, if I recall. But
I would
don't know.
hope you don't. But
Yeah.
I would want to know.
I feel like if it did, there would already be like a Reddit post about it because
Yeah, for
people have been
sure.
posting
Okay,
about
yeah,
it so
that makes
much so far. So like they already released an update for it like today, like a more patched version of D2. So
Yeah, people probably found all these spots where
Yeah.
you can get stuck in and a
Yeah.
lot of stuff.
Things that are not shown here really that are probably really important as well. We'll move back towards A site, T site, A site out of spawn. Talk about some of the differences there because some important smoke spots are actually I think taken away. If I'm not mistaken, right?
I'm not sure yet. I can't confirm or deny that. You're
Is
talking
there-
about like just
isn't
going to
there,
long
like,
A, right?
Well, yeah, like you're going to long A. Isn't there like a covered area where like a car or something like that's in the way where there used to be crates where you could hop on?
I think in general, I don't remember much about T spawn side, but I know if you take long A, right, or if you're just in the long A area as a CT or a T, there's like all these like rafter things now, or like these like think of like a market where it has like the tent part above it. There's like so many of those now that like it's not that easy to throw nades if you're like peeking a corner type thing. Like you have to expose yourself more to be able to throw like a grenade or something like that. So I think I don't know what the real purpose of doing that was because most people didn't even throw grenades like that anyway. So it's kind of like most people just threw it like way over the building. They went in, try to like peek the angle and then throw it.
That was me. That would be me. I'm just like, here we go. I'm like, here we go. Just like, everything.
Yeah.
So, going through 8 side as we swiggle through, get through the doors, and we get out into the open of long A. There is obviously car, which at least most people would know that call out car. It's getting close towards A side on the right side if you're on T side. It has opened up, right, a bit?
Yes,
It's gotten pushed up and opened up a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's literally just one car now. So it's not like you're standing on a bunch of broken cars. It's just one car, and it just sticks out more. So if you're opting like that car angle that a lot of people do, right, like you can't do it anymore. It's just flat ground there now.
Man. Brutal. Yeah. Okay. Well, is this a map after it gets played out just for nostalgia purposes? Would you guys love to see it back into rotation come springtime?
Definitely.
Better yet, what map would you take out?
Yeah, what map would you take out?
I think I'm gonna say probably nuke, but I'm just shooting in the dark.
No, 100% nuke that map. Oh my! You don't even know what site they're planning at half the time. Like you may be hiding in like toxic at B, and then all of a sudden you hear him planning, so you open the door thinking like, oh, I'm gonna get this guy, and then it's like, oh, it's A. Well, shoot, well there goes the round. The round's gone right there. So I'd take out nuke in a heartbeat, and I would just. They need to revamp that map again. Like it's just the sounds and everything, the sound cues, positioning, just how the map's played. Like it's really hard to run defaults on that map. I would take it out in a heartbeat.
It's never really felt right playing that map.
Those two come back into our heart. Come back into our heart.
I mean, like that, or like I hear people saying Mirage. Like I hate those people because Mirage is my favorite map, and then I hear people saying Inferno, and I'm like, I don't know why you'd say Inferno.
People are saying Cobblestone though.
Yeah,
like, the pro scene is insane.
I was about to say Cobblestone is the one that I think would make sense the most. Like if they're gonna completely revamp it the way that they've been like, quote unquote revamping other maps and then bringing them back in to play differently, like Cobblestone.
That's a CSL classic map right there over the years.
But technically, if you want to talk about just revamping a map, it would be Mirage that's next because, well, if you want to talk about just like a visual upgrade, it would be Mirage because Cobblestone came out after. It's just that people
Yeah, but
don't like how Cobblestone is played right now. That's why I
Yeah,
want to take it out.
that's why I'm talking about from a playing standpoint. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want them to upgrade any more textures though because my computer's old. So I wish they would just stop doing that.
Got a toaster.
The biggest enemy of CSGO community is like losing FPS, just like increased textures.
Yeah, I don't want to see, like, I haven't been on the new Dust 2 because I don't want to know how many frames I have on it compared to the old one.
It's actually not that bad. At least my computer is like it's pretty comparable, like between both Dust 2s, if I recall. So
Okay, I hope
not too bad.
mine's the same as yours then.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's Dust 2. We miss you. We want you back. I think we pretty much covered everything today. For those that are watching, if you guys want to recap anything, this will be uploaded to YouTube later tonight. So feel free to check it out later or into tomorrow. We'll do our best to timestamp it as well in case you missed any sections. We talked about last season, a little bit of UCI in detail, overview of the season and groups for this coming year, and as well the really important topic of Dust 2, as always. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for hanging out for as long as you guys did. I feel like we actually really dove in over the top a bit and very comprehensive in terms of this coming season, what we anticipate and seeing. Obviously, I want to wish Strawberry the best of luck with UC Irvine, Mahone with you with the UBC.
Not playing technically.
Hey, as all. Hey, if you're not, I mean, if you're not for UBC anymore, just let me know, man. I won't. I won't associate you with UBC anymore. If you don't.
I'll come back if there's a Forza League. That's the only condition.
Somewhere EA is just like, oh, there we go, Microsoft. They're just like rolling their hands together. Zach, I want to wish you the best of luck doing all these awesome pieces, following the teams and casting CSGO this year. I think you will have a lot of fun following these teams. Obviously, now we have a VOD to reference all our bad predictions. So
of course, yeah, hold us to it too.
We're gonna look back at the year, just like people are gonna be like, God, look at these guys. They're so stupid. Like they don't know shit about the college leagues. What are they talking about? All right. For me, guys, if you want to obviously check me out for whatever reason. At Cheesehead Logic. Other than that, come support all the CSL streams Monday through Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific and 7 p.m. Pacific. We will have CSGO on Mondays, Dota 2, VG, StarCraft, and StarCraft Remastered on Tuesday and Thursdays. Fridays we will have shows, so if you guys enjoyed the quad, come on back next Friday for more quad. We will have more shows as well coming up here in the near future. Weekends, guess what? You just get to play and then enjoy the rest of your weekend for now. So no weekend broadcasts. You guys can watch the professional tournaments as well without having any interferences as well. So made a big change for that. I was actually shocked. We had a lot of people last year tell me, "Hey, I want to go to a college football game." I'm like, bullshit. I'm like, I'm like, what? You're gonna go to a college football game? Yeah, no, and basketball. I'm like, all right. Well, if you guys are all busy, then. Might as well open it up for everybody. So hopefully everybody gets to enjoy the new format and new season. Other than that, just keep an eye out on all the Smash stuff for the weekend. We do have some cool things coming up as well in the near future with certain games like Quake. That's going to be coming in the spring. League of Legends info obviously going to be coming out pretty soon as well. There are a couple more games as well in the works. One I think that the community will really enjoy, but for now I have to keep hush-hush to an extent about it. But other than that, that is all I have. It was a lot of fun with you guys. Any final words, Mahone?
Yeah, thank you guys for watching. It was a pleasure to, the rest of you guys for being here for this. I think it's almost been 2 hours at this point. Even though we said it's only like an hour.
I got an hour and a half down.
Didn't even feel like it. It was enjoyable.
Yeah. And good luck to all the teams, by the way. And again, follow me on Twitter or message me on Discord if you need any, assistance with the CSL League in general.
Seriously, guys, take that advice, please. Leave me alone a little bit more. We got Mahone here. You take all your problems and put them in Mahone's hands. He will deal with them. Zach, what about you?
I'm just looking forward to casting this season and improving myself in that department. The more games you do, the better you feel doing it, right? So I have a lot of opportunity to do that this season, and then hopefully the casting will give me an even better insight into how I can write for CSL, because I'll get that sort of live sort of experience 2 nights a week at least. So I'll be forced to see these matches. I'll have definitely be able to write some good pieces. So I would just want to advise everybody to check out the website for the articles. See that I'll be producing every week.
Awesome. And the man without a Twitter in 2017, really? You don't have a Twitter?
I don't have a Snapchat.
What is the decision behind? Give me your decision. What in a world where everybody has pretty much everything in social media, what made you go against the grain? You are sir. You are the anti-millennial. Can you explain your reasoning?
I'm just not someone that likes to post a lot. There's no other way to put it. Like, I'd just rather talk to you in person or message you rather than post about my life. That's just me, though. I don't know. I'm introverted, I guess, in a way.
Shit posting is so fun, though. Shit posting, especially the CSGO community. It's so fun to shit post with the CSGO community. It's like,
if I want to shit post, I'll just post an EC and roast people. That's what I do. I'll get on there, I'll say a really retarded post, and I'll be like, all right, I'm roasting this guy for the next hour, That's my form of Twitter right there.
Gotcha. And you guys could probably also follow at UCI Esports, and if you guys haven't had a chance, feel free to type into chat !CSGO. You guys can check out the standings and groups for yourself, who's going to be playing, and keep tabs throughout the season, how everybody's going to be doing. If you guys haven't yet joined our Discord group, you can type in !Discord in Twitch chat as well, and you can join that. And if you need to contact us for any reason, we are open and available to you guys pretty much 24/7 at this point, with everybody's sleeping hours. Like, I'm pretty sure like the CSL is open 24/7 at this point. So feel free to hit us up. We are up at all times. So thanks, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure. I don't have anything except I'm excited to see how everybody starts playing this weekend. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm curious how it's going to pan out. It's got some pretty good teams this year.
Dope. Well, there's a great outro for you guys. Hope you enjoyed that. Hopefully check out the VOD, and we will see you next week for more quad. We do not know the game just yet. Most likely one of our current rostered games. If you guys haven't checked out as well, feel free to check out our YouTube channel. We have Smash podcasts going up weekly. Those are pretty cool. Hungry Box getting involved on those. And yeah, more content. Until next time, guys. See you later.